stores where they have jewelry boxes that are just exotic, and you can't wait to buy one, and then you look at the price. Fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests, tonight I will finish telling you how to make a jewelry box of the kind that is being passed around, so that you will be able to tell others when you see these, oh, I know how those are made. So last time, I took you through selecting a beautiful board and cutting it into something like this, and from that, cutting 2 9-inch long pieces and 2 13-inch long pieces, 4 inches high. We can use our imaginations here. And also selecting a board for the top, something like this, which is curly maple. And for the bottom, putting a groove in the sides that will fit the bottom. And if you're going to make a tray, how to put a groove in the middle of it. Then you bevel, you miter the edges using a 45-degree cut. And last week I mentioned something about cutting away from the board, the saw blade, and this is how you do it. You lay the piece of wood on the blade this way rather than get it squeezed between the blade and, well, squeezed between the blade and the end of the fence. Thank you. So you've cut the miters and you've put the bottom in and you've glued it together. Then you cut the grooves for the splines, and you put the spline material, which is very thin, contrasting material, in there using a hammer, and try to get it to completely cover the hole as well as possible. So now I'm on part 2. The next thing you do after your splines have been cut is to work on the lid. The lid needs to be shaped like this. So part of the top, part of each of the 4 sides needs to be cut with the blade also lying at an angle. And you run the board through the blade on all 4 sides. And once that is shaped, then you can put the hole in for your pin pivot hinge. It's a little 1/8 inch piece of brass tubing, brass rod. Brass and copper are very easy to cut and sand, so they're wonderful to work with when you're doing something like that. So you put your pivot, your pin pivot hinge hole in, and now you're ready to shape the rest of the box. The way you do that is just like you did with the lid. You run it through the table saw again at an angle. And I have another cool tool to show you, which is the sliding bevel gauge. You can set that at any angle, turn the screw, and then you set your blade at that angle. So you run it through the saw on all 4 sides, and then turn it over and run it through. And now you've got to make sure that you keep all of the spline visible. You don't cut any of that off. And you make sure that you don't cut it so far that you drop the bottom out. So then it looks like this. And you sand for about half a lifetime. No kidding. And it's ready to put together. No, it's not. The next thing you do is you take a very expensive piece of cardboard, Sometimes I cut it from a cereal box. It doesn't matter because it's covered by this beautiful piece of velvet. And this box actually has velveteen, it's not quite as pretty. You cover it, and a dark color really shows off the diamonds, folks. So dark colors are nice. When you put it on, when you put the velvet on, you cut the corners at a 45 so that when you fold it over, you don't get any bunching. So now you've got your liner. One last step you have to make is to put some stops for the top. This is so when you close it, the top doesn't keep going down. And if you were to do that, you would never get the top out of there. So you put the stops in, you put the bottom, the liner in. If you have one, you put the tray in. Then you put your pin pivot hinges in, and you put a finish on. Now this wood, this particular wood is so oily, it won't take a finish. So this is the natural. I think I oiled it with boiled linseed oil or Watco. So you could use your favorite finish. Then you sit back and let people admire it, or you give it away. So next time you're in a store with these beautiful jewelry boxes, you can think, that took half a lifetime of sand.